And back on the Excursion, talked to Fass Fuel Systems. They were super easy to talk to. If it continues like this, dealing with them will be very easy, and I always like to talk good about companies when they have good customer service. They don't care if you're the person working on it or the customer. They want to get it resolved, help you get things resolved. That way you can get your customer back on the road, or get the customer back on the road, whichever one. I just think it's great when people do that. What's the point of trying to do a blame game and everything and point fingers? Let's just get things figured out. So I explained the situation on this Excursion, that it's a no start. I've done all these tests that you guys seen me do, and they wanted me to do a bucket test, what they call it. And that is taking a 5-gallon bucket or whatever size. You can see it's full of diesel, and I have all 3 hoses. So I actually pulled, this hose is the feed hose to the engine, and I pulled it out of the frame, disconnected it, pulled it down here, and I put it in the bucket with the return and the suction. And they want me to turn the pump on, or loosen one of the filters. I think they said filter, they didn't say water separator. So I think it's the one, he said it's the one closest to the 2 outlet hoses, so it'd be the return and the suction. He said, crack that filter and you'll hear the motor change tones. As soon as it changes tones, then tighten that filter up and let the system bleed. And to put a fuel pressure gauge, or a pressure gauge, up here, you can see I have it tapped in right here, and I think you might be able to see right underneath that fitting there is a G. There it is. And that's for gauge. So I'm tapped in, that'll tell me what pressure this pump's making. So the output pressure. And if it's making enough for this engine, then I'm sucking good fuel and I'm putting out good fuel. In that case, maybe I have something up at my engine that's causing an issue or something, but we need to run this test. Let's see what happens. Oh God. Almost got killed. Okay, say that's full. Ooh, got a lot going on here. Okay, I think our pump was definitely bled. There's no air in the system. Okay, just a second. Let me get cleaned up and we'll go over that again. Okay, that was a lot going on there. What I'm going to do is, I can't turn the fuel pump on this model year of truck with the computer, so what I'm going to do is bypass the relay. And let's see if I can do this and show you. On this truck, see where this white wire is? It's that middle relay. That's for the fuel pump on this 7.3 diesel. I don't know if it's going to be the same for everyone. I'm going to jump across from 87 to 30. Key's off, but it's running. Go back to here. See that making uh-oh. What happened? Did it time out? Maybe it did with the key off. It just timed out. Okay, so we saw that it was making pressure, or it's doing stuff, but we're still not making pressure. And I can't feel anything going on in that. timing out on me. Probably because the engine's not running. The pump sounds pretty good. There we are. Let me get something to weigh that suction line down. Okay, I got a piece of metal. Actually, it's the back piece on a 6.0 that goes onto the back of the crank, and the flex plate bolts to it. That's weighing the suction down, actually helping pull the other ones down too. So let's turn the pump on and see what pressure we get. We're still not getting anything. At this point, I'm still kind of convinced that the pump has failed, but I'm going to call Fass Fuel Pumps right now, see what they say, and just keep trying to figure out what's going on with this. I'm actually kind of happy because I usually have kind of boring videos that don't turn into different kind of things, but hopefully this can help somebody diagnose their fuel pump if it fails, if that's what it is. I guess diagnose a no-start issue if this is similar. So, okay, I'll check back with you whenever I get off the phone with Fass. Okay, I'm back on the 2002 Excursion with the no-start, and we're suspecting the fuel pump's bad. We did the bucket test. We're still not making any pressure. Well, I must have not heard it, or I just didn't realize something, and I feel kind of dumb that I didn't, but you know, it is what it is. That's why you keep testing, keep questioning yourself. In this case, I called Fass to get a little more information from them, and the guy on the service help was awesome. He corrected me, and as soon as he did, it was like, oh, that was dumb of me. But he gave me good information to go off of after I rerun the bucket test again to check more things. So one thing I should have done when running the bucket test is we have the suction hose, the return hose, and the pressure hose all in that bucket. The pressure hose I should have pinched off. That way it deadheads, and the pump would have been demanded to make as much pressure as it can, and then I would have seen if it was making any pressure. So let's do that first. Rerun the bucket test. I'm going to clamp off the pressure line, and then we'll see what pressure we're making. Okay, if we go back to the back here, we see where I'm tapped in from a gauge. This line coming out right here. This is our pressure line. And we come down, and I've got it clamped off. And that's what they told me to do. So now I'm going to run the pump and see what pressure we get. And we're going to go over here, take our little jumper. If I remember correctly, it was the pin 30 and 87. Let's see if that's right. Yep. See if we make some pressure. Maybe let's see what happens when the pump shuts off. Maybe 1 psi. So that would explain why we're getting a little bit of fuel in the bowl. Now with the next step now, if basically that proves that our pump is not making any pressure or not enough to run the engine. Now he's suspected an issue on the return side. So if they're on the pump, the return side on the pump, and he said that if we're not making pressure, but the pump is flowing fuel back into the tank, which it is, the return side, we saw one earlier in the video. I showed you guys the pump running, and in the bucket you could see the fuel mixing around and everything. We know we're getting movement. He said the return side is has basically it's not restricted. So it's letting the pump full flow on the return side. So now he wanted me to pinch off the return side. Let's find the return side. The return side, this is the suction here. It's a real big one in the front. The return side is right here. So let's go up. Pinch off our return side. Create a restriction. Let's see what happens. Go back to our jumper. Reset it. Oh, we got pressure. We got 30 psi. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So what he wanted me to do now, 30 is really not what we'd like to see. We'd really like to see higher, but we could be bleeding some fuel past. And it could have some air in the system. Okay. We're making progress. What he wanted me to do now was, if I get pressure by pinching off the return side, he wants me to take the line out on the return side, that fitting, and look for the regulator in there. Take this lower one loose here. I didn't feel like finding the right wrench, so I'll just do this. Hopefully I don't get covered in fuel. Okay, now we want to take that fitting out, and I'm probably going to need to crack that filter to get enough clearance. Okay, I got a 7/8. That fits that perfect. Let's hope we don't lose anything. Got an O-ring on that. He said there'd be a spring in there, which I see the spring. Got the spring. And he said there'd be either a check ball or a plate up in there. I don't know which one's up there. I don't feel either. I don't know. Let me get a magnet. I got a magnet, but first I'm going to use a bore scope and look up in there. Hopefully I can share that with you guys. There's nothing in there. I don't see anything. Weird. Let's get a magnet. Nothing's coming out. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess I'll call Fass back and see what they tell me to do. Okay, just got off the phone with Fass, and again, they were great to deal with, and they're standing behind their product. But you all saw that I removed the fitting and the spring. Let me see if I can get up in there. And you can see in there, you see the draw tube, that silver, all the way at the end, but you see how the block is machined down. It's got threads there, and then it machined down. Well, the regulator or restrictor should bottom out on that block before the draw tube. We have no regulator, so he doesn't even know how this ran before. So they're shipping one out. I should see it in a couple days and put that in, and everything should work properly. So as soon as I get that in, I'll let you guys No. Okay, that was a weird occurrence. So I don't know how how it was built without it, but so how it ran without that, I don't know. How it was assembled without it, things happen. So I don't. It's just weird. So I really don't know. I'm a little confused about it all, but here's what it is. They're sending one out, no charge to the customer, and as soon as I get that in, I'll show you guys what I get, and we'll put it together and see if the truck's fixed. Let's hope it is. I can't remember if I updated you guys exactly what was causing this 01 Excursion not to start. So you know that we've checked all fuel pressure, checked for suction, checked to make sure I didn't have any restriction at the tank or any holes or anything, any issues anywhere, and still couldn't really figure out what was causing this. And I talked to Fass several times, and with their help, they said that I was missing the flow regulator. I think that's what it was called. Flow through. Yeah, flow through regulator. And all it is this. Right there. This little bitty thing is what our issue was. So basically this creates a restriction on the return side, which then allows pressure on the pressure side. So this goes in to the pump, spring, and then fitting, and that holds it in. So I just need to install this, tighten the fitting back up. My plan is I'm not going to check for pressure then. I'm just going to go ahead and put the fuel tank back in, probably put everything back together, and then check for pressure up at the cylinder head just to make sure we're getting pressure there, and then try to start it. So let's see if this fixes it. Okay, some of you want to see the details. You can see that flow through meter is in there. The domed portion is facing in the pump. The little cupped area is what you're seeing there. Then the spring goes in, and the fitting, you can see the fitting's got a machined area to fit that spring. Thread it in. I'll tighten it up. I'll put the return hose back on. I gotta put it there. Return hose back on, and then I will get everything else back up, and I will, next time I update you, I'll be checking pressure and trying to start the truck. Okay, I forgot to turn the camera on for the first start. It cranked for a while and then hit because it built fuel pressure. But right now I'm going to start it for you, show you guys. That is a relief. I am super excited that that fixed it. Hard to believe that little bitty piece kept this thing from running, but I mean, it was supposed to keep regulate the fuel and up the fuel pressure if you got no fuel pressure. Why it ran so long without that, I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I normally have theories on that. I have theories on a lot of things. Anyway, it doesn't make sense to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking around until the end so you could figure out what was wrong. And I am actually I just wanted to kind of plug my own stuff. Selling this would help my business and my channel, and the more money I make on this side, I'm going to try to push for the channel on getting more parts for my 6.0 to get it going. I need to actually get started on the engine build on that pretty soon. But I've been an AMSOIL dealer for a while, and they make really good synthetic oil, especially for diesels. And then I'm also a Hot Shot dealer. And they make stiction eliminator. They also have oil. If you go to their website and check stuff out, and they have anti-gel, and they have for your fuel. And really my favorite products from them, stiction eliminator and their EDT with anti-gel. And you could really run that anti-gel, that EDT with anti-gel year round. I don't know, I'd have to check with Hot Shot to be sure if that's good for summertime use, but it's EDT, which is everyday treatment with anti-gel. I mean, if you started using that, say now, and you have to worry about freezing up, well, the rest of the winter you wouldn't have to worry about it. And if you use it through the summer, come winter, you wouldn't have to worry about it. Because every winter time comes around, I have customers get a hold of me, hey, I think my diesel gelled up. I'm like, then get some anti-gel, stick it in it, wait a little bit. There's no point in me, I mean, I remember at the dealership we'd pull trucks in the shop and change fuel filters, but just to really, it needed to sit and warm up. Anyway, if you ran the anti-gel, you wouldn't have to worry about it. If you guys are interested, I'll put the email right here for you guys. I'll also put it in the description. Get a hold of me, ask about a product, I'll shoot you a price on it. And if you get me a zip code with that, I'll get you a price on shipping, shipped to you if it's a product I already have. If it's a large enough amount, I could ship it from Hot Shot. If I'm going to try to get something set up with free shipping, like at a certain cost. These products are at this cost, it's free shipping, something like that. So I just don't know how much of a demand it is, but I'd appreciate if you guys would let me know. Shoot me an email, let me know in the comments. But I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Later.